Hey, this is Danielle, and welcome to 7 Stocks to Success. We're going to be going through quite a journey here today, and for that reason, I wanted to give you an outline to start out with. Now, I know whenever you start a class and you hear the first couple of slides, you immediately come up with many questions, and especially because this class is a straight to recording class, you may at times feel like you need to ask a question right away. Well, that's why I wanted to place this right here in the beginning, and I'm going to come back to it every chapter because I want you to know where we're starting and where we're going with this. So, you have to keep in mind that every single chapter is going to have a focus, but beyond that, they all link together, and at the end, it is going to come together. Not only that, but this is coupled with a couple different extras within your class folder that you can go ahead and check out, such as the spreadsheet. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to start off with a basic overview of why I started to use this strategy, what I used it for, and then I'm going to get into all of the details. So first of all, we're going to start off with the outline. So with any strategy, any trading strategy that you use, you need to understand the basics. That's basically what the strategy is, how it works, why you would use something like that. Then the next piece of this is obviously the core of the class, right? So the class is about 7 different stocks. These are 7 different stocks that I traded all the time, and I still trade them. And so you need to know how to identify stocks that fit those parameters, but then obviously I'm also going to give you my list. The reason why I did this both ways is because I have identified the stocks for you. These are the same stocks that I trade all the time. However, there might be a stock that you like trading and it fits these same rules. And so, there's not only 7 stocks. There could be 20, there could be 30. But the way that I used to do this is I just focused on a short amount of stocks. That was the easiest way. And so that is the way I'm going to teach it, but I wanted to make sure that I also give you the factors that would put a stock on this list. The next piece of this is, the actual list, like I said. So, we want to talk about the factors that puts the stock on the list, then here's the actual list. But, I know everyone wants to get to that part, but these parts are very critical. And then after that, it really just depends where you are in your trading journey. There's some traders who may be relatively new who want more background on how to sell premium and why. And there may be other traders who will skip down here to the entries and exits. But that's why I've broken this class up in chapters. You can download the entire slideshow and ideally watch the whole thing from start to finish, breaking it up in chapters. But if you're more advanced and you want to come down to the timing and entries and exit portion and focus on this portion, that works for me. So I also wanted to point out that obviously these are 2 very important parts. So I want to make sure that you don't just read the list and then forget about everything else. Understanding risk and also understanding assignment are very important components of this class. And the last piece that I've thrown in here for you is going to be how to elevate this class. So this class is coming with my Stack Profits class. And as we have discussed, the Stack Profits, this is an elevated method. Well, this, as the very beginning method that I used when I first started trading, can be elevated, and it was elevated, and that is how I moved along my journey to success. So the very last portion of this for you is going to be how to elevate this strategy. So if you're in this and you're thinking, hey, how did she initially start and then how did she make it better? That is where you are going to find this piece down here. So make sure you stick around to check that out. Let's go ahead and start. So like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about the background of this class and that starts with the flashback. So, we all have a spectrum where we start out and then depending on wherever you're at now. But for me, as a beginner, my prime focus was on selling premium outside of the expected ranges on high IV stocks for income for a 3-to-1 risk reward generation. Why did I do that? Well, I primarily did it because I had a lack of awareness about of the market and how it works. I wasn't able to come in, identify a squeeze, identify entries and exits. That doesn't mean that you can't do it as an intermediate or an advanced trader. It's just simply where I started in my own journey. Then as I moved on, what I wanted to do is I wanted to learn how to identify directional setups. And part of this is just because, John was my mentor and that's what he does. And so as I got better, I focused on adjusting my risk to reward from 3-to-1 to 1-to-1. And I would consider this the intermediary time frame, okay? The next piece of that is moving on to the advanced area right here. So this is really where you get to the point where you're melding income and directional strategies, and you can focus on singles and doubles, but you also know when to load the boat to really get your maximum out of this. This really does require a thorough analysis of market behavior. So this one right here is really a mix of this one and this one coupled together. Now, the experience portion is going to be when you are an expert at an overall market analysis with expert stock picking skills coupled with all of the above. This one, this one, this one. And you're really focused on allowing for growth in long-term stock and ETF accounts, but you're able to couple this with expert trade selection skills to maximize both income and directional options trades. So that's where I'm at. That is what I focus on in my trading, but within that, there are many different strategies that I use and that I trade with. And so tonight, we're going to start right about here, and through my second class that you'll be taking, which is Stack Profits, we're going to end up right about here. So, remember this slide? Well, these are the stairs. This beginning portion is where we focus on income-based options trading, where it doesn't really matter the direction of the market, but at the same time, if you can at least eyeball it enough to pick a side, then your probability will be shifted in your favor. So, you have to remember that everyone has to start somewhere. I knew I couldn't read the charts at the beginning, so I perfected a strategy that didn't require it. And some people still may prefer to use that method. The reason why I liked this strategy was because when I was a new mom, I honestly traded about 3 hours per day. I would listen to a session of John's, a session of Henry's, probably wouldn't catch the whole thing. But then I would spend a good hour or so trading. Why? Well, because the rest of my day, I was doing this. I was playing with my baby. I was doing photography. I worked on a photography program, and Leo got to work on his baby modeling skills. But over time, I began to love trading, and I started spending more time on it. And one of the things that I wanted to learn was technical analysis. So I just wanted to give you a flashback for where this all started and where it's going, because, people ask me all the time, do you like this strategy? Do you like that strategy? Well, I can tell you personally that I have traded a variety of different strategies, and there's merit in all of them. What really matters is where you are at in your trading career and in your life and what you want to focus on. So I know that I've mentioned that it's for beginners, but really, it's for anyone. It's for anyone who wants slow and steady income with a little stress, and you like focusing on premium selling. Here is a screenshot that of my actual trading journal back when I used to use this strategy. And I don't know if you can read this right here, but that says wisdom. So the very next portion of my journal after the actual journal was wisdom, and this is where I printed off and I wrote down different quotes and books and just different things that helped me along my path. And then beyond that, I focused on trades, my trading plan, my monthly total, my yearly total, and then I totaled every single week, week after week. I wrote the when I would open something, when I would close it. I even wrote down the times, the week entered, the week closed. I always wrote down how much money I made on each one, and the closing trade analysis was really important. In this example I write, I was too nervous with this trade, so I closed it. Very sad. So that also helps you go back in time and figure out, what you're doing. But the moral of the story is that this simple strategy involves trading the same 7 stocks. I used it with less than 3 hours per day. Honestly, you can do it with even less. This was also the strategy that I initially used to help create everything else that I have done after the fact. So, thank you for joining me for this introduction. I'm going to start the very first chapter, which is going to be the strategy outline, the how and the why. I'll see you in the next one.